Imagine having the clarity to make decisions that align perfectly with the future you want to create. What if your leadership wasn't just reactive, but visionary, grounded in an awareness of future possibilities? In this video, we'll explore the concept of future consciousness, how thinking beyond the present moment enhances leadership decisions, strategy, and empowers you to lead with purpose and confidence. Hi, I'm Jeff, the creator of Epic Mind Visions, where we explore timeless wisdom and future insight to help leaders and entrepreneurs unlock their highest and full potential. Today, we're diving into the role of future consciousness in leadership and entrepreneurship, and how aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your strategies with future timelines can transform the way you lead, the way you plan, and the way you inspire others. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the most successful leaders around aren't just focused on the present moment. They're actively shaping the future through their decisions today. Future consciousness is really the ability to think, to feel, and to act with the future in mind. It's the awareness that your present actions ripple forward, shaping the outcomes and opportunities of tomorrow. This is the way it works. It ripples out. So I have a little diagram here. So here's how it works, is the way that you think, feel, and act ripples into the future. This is the future over here. So the way you think, feel, and act today ripple into the future of tomorrow. So with that in mind, here's how it works. Every decision creates a ripple effect that aligns you with specific future possibilities. We just have to determine which ones we want to be aligned with based on what we're expressing and resonating, how we're thinking, feeling, and acting today, because that's going to determine what we receive in the future. So leaders with this future consciousness anticipate trends, they anticipate challenges, they anticipate opportunities, and position themselves and their teams ahead of the curve so that they can take advantage. There is scientific basis behind this. I always like to back things up with science, because so much of the metaphysical principles and concepts and ideas that people have been saying for a long time are starting to be backed up by science more and more. So this principle of future consciousness is backed up by a scientific principle called temporal cognition, where studies show that the human brain is wired to imagine future scenarios, which help us plan and to make complex decisions in a more strategic and more adaptable way, so that we can reach that future that we're looking for. This is strategic foresight, where leaders actively consider these future scenarios, and the ones that do tend to create more resilient and adaptable strategies over time. So that's the science behind it. So, for example, companies that embraced remote work technology before the pandemic, by going on Zoom or Slack or something like that, they were way better positioned to thrive in a world that changed rapidly right before the pandemic, right at the pandemic. So if they already saw that coming, not the pandemic necessarily, but they saw that communication was going that way and they already had these systems in place, they didn't miss a beat, right? They just dropped right in. Why does future consciousness matter in leadership? Well, it matters because it brings a lot of clarity in decision making, because leaders by default need to make decisions based on a very limited data set. Some things they may have a lot of data about, but there's generally no clear answer or what's the right answer at any given moment. And they might be overwhelmed with data. They might be overwhelmed with information. And at some point, a decision must be made, and they are in the hot seat to make those decisions. So with all of that ambiguity, Using future consciousness as a framework, they can have a greater level of clarity in their decision making, because when you're envisioning the longer term impact of your decisions, you're more likely to choose actions that align with your values and your core mission, that are going to stand the test of time, instead of making decisions from a reactionary state based on something that happened in the shorter term. So whether you're investing in new products or you're building a new code base, we don't ever know if those things are going to be the right moves, right? The code could be obsolete tomorrow. The new product, you might find something better the next day after you've already spent all this time and effort to integrate it into your team. Like, we never know what's right. But if we have this framework of future consciousness with our mission and values at the core, then we know whatever decision we make, we're going to be making the right one. And it's going to take us to the next step of where we want to be in our business. The second is enhancing strategic agility. So think about the ability to anticipate and pivot before a disruption occurs, right? If you're thinking ahead, you can sometimes see what these future changes are going to be. And it helps leaders to be more proactive rather than reactive to the market. So, the great example is Netflix changing from the DVD model to the streaming model. Blockbuster didn't do that. Look what happened to them, right? So they were not seeing the future in the same way that Netflix did. So with AI, which is the hot issue right now, are you going to be a leader that's proactive with AI, or are you going to wait and see what happens and potentially get Netflix or get blockbustered in the market because some competitor has created a different product, a superior product that's more efficient and effective with AI? Or are you going to miss out on some process that allows another company to be more profitable because they're using AI internally to be more efficient in their business, eliminate jobs and things like that? These are all really important issues for leaders face, and to be able to use future consciousness as a framework is going to allow you to kind of really consider what the risks and rewards are of any of these technologies and different decisions that need to be made. And then also the third thing is inspiring teams with vision. So future focused leaders really inspire trust and commitment by painting a clear and compelling picture of the future vision of what you're creating, the future vision of what you are asking them to support you to create with you, to stand by your side and create with you, right? People follow leaders who can articulate where they're going and why it matters. This is, Elon Musk, he's a great example of that. Like, he's really been able to articulate, although we might look at it and say, well, it's really not that hard. It's bold to be able to say, hey, we're going to Mars and I need to build some rockets. Who's coming with me? That's a bold statement. Most of us, if we were saying that for ourselves and we were the leader and we were going to be responsible for making that vision become reality, would we have the cojones to say it? Probably not. Nobody else has. That's why nobody's done it, right? But he's amazing at being able to inspire teams with visions in that way. So he and other leaders, obviously he's not the only one, but they become the lighthouse that lights the way for others. So how do we cultivate this future consciousness as leaders? Now that we understand the concept a little bit more, we understand how important it can be. How do we develop it as leaders in our own practice, right? So the first one is to practice future visualization. Visualization. Oops. So we practice future visualization, and we're visualizing different scenarios, right? So what does this do? It basically primes our brains to start to understand the possibilities, the potential threats and opportunities that might come about when, in this future scenario. Number 2 is to develop strategic foresight. Okay, developing strategic foresight. What does that do for us? It basically it allows us to analyze trends. Analyzes trends and emergent patterns. Analyze trends and emerging patterns. Okay? So when we do that, we can create like a future map and highlight the key opportunities and challenges that are going to come up over the time period that we're looking at, right? So this gives us a huge insight into what's possible with opportunities. The third thing is to align present actions with future goals. Do it like that. Actually, that one's probably going to need to go up there a little bit. Oops. So this ensures that our daily decisions are aligned with the future we want to create, right? Daily decisions and actions. Actions are aligned with the future vision of what we want to create. Number 4 is to foster a culture of adaptability. Okay, we're fostering adaptability. And what does that get us? Fostering adaptability gets us the ability to teach our teams to think in the long term and to embrace change. To embrace change, think long term. Leave it like that. And then finally, the 5th one is to balance present with future. Okay. So what does balancing the present with the future get us? It gets us it means connecting today's actions with tomorrow's outcomes. There we go. So that's how that works. Let me increase this. There we go. So we have practice future visualization. It allows us to envision different possibilities, opportunities, scenarios, develop strategic foresight, analyzing trends and emerging patterns that can reveal opportunities and risks that are coming about in real time, align present actions and future goals. Daily decisions and actions are aligned with the future that you want to create. And then foster adaptability by teaching teams to embrace change and think long term. And then balance the present with the futures, connect today's actions with tomorrow's outcomes. So it's not just making sure that they're aligned, but also understanding that you can't ignore the present. You also have to pay attention to the present. You can't just pay attention to the future, and connecting that today's actions are going to lead to the result that you have in the future. The best leaders aren't just managing today, they're building for tomorrow. And by cultivating future consciousness, you gain clarity, resilience, and the ability to align your actions with the future that you want to create. If this resonates with you, like, comment, and subscribe, and join me on this journey. And I'll leave you with a question. What's one decision you've made recently that aligns with your long-term vision? Drop that in the comments. Until next time, remember, your future's not something you need to wait for. It's something you create starting today.